Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
We took our time discovering each other, sharing tender caresses and intimate touches. Her skin was impossibly soft beneath my fingertips as I drew out those lovely responses from her, while she carefully worked to accommodate me. We moved together perfectly, understanding each other's needs without words. I'm Jude, a 33-year-old office worker living in a quiet Colorado town. Dating hasn't been easy for me because of a unique physical trait, one that's considerably larger than average. You know how people tend to prefer things that are more conventional. My past dating experiences taught me this the hard way. Even when dates were going great and we'd end up getting intimate, partners would often be taken aback by my size. While some tried to be understanding, others flat out rejected me. Once that happened, there was no coming back. With those who gave it a chance, I was incredibly gentle and patient, but most still found it uncomfortable. All I could do was apologize, blaming myself. These repeated rejections left me thinking I might never find love or get married. Just when I was ready to throw in the towel, my friend Mike stepped up. He's been my buddy for years and really understood what I was going through, always showing genuine care and support. Whenever I'd talk about giving up on dating, he'd get particularly concerned. Then came the day Mike suggested we try dating apps together. Little did I know this would be a game changer. My life was about to take an unexpected turn. One lazy weekend afternoon, Mike called out of the blue. I picked up right away since I was just chilling at home. He excitedly told me about this cool app he'd found and wanted us to check it out together. We decided to meet at our regular Starbucks spot. I quickly got ready and headed over. Mike was already there when I arrived. After grabbing our coffees, I asked what kind of game we were trying out. He chuckled and said it wasn't a game at all, it was a dating app. No way, man. You know how that always ends, I sighed. But Mike wasn't giving up. Look, I get it, but let's give it a shot. I'm new to this too. Maybe beginner's luck will be on our side. He showed me how detailed we could make our profiles. It was touching to realize Mike had found this app because he was worried about me becoming a hermit after all my dating trauma. Despite my initial resistance, his genuine concern and enthusiasm eventually won me over. We sat there helping each other set up our profiles. I decided to be upfront about my situation, while Mike joked about needing to work on his stamina. Watching him goof around, I couldn't help but appreciate what an amazing friend he was. Back at my place, staring at the app alone, doubts started creeping in. If I couldn't make it work in person, how could online dating be any better? Mike kept encouraging me, telling me to log in daily and like profiles that caught my eye. For days went by with nothing. Just as I was thinking, well, this is another dead end, I got home from work and checked my phone. There was a match notification. I literally jumped in surprise. It was someone I'd liked just yesterday. While her profile picture was a bit fuzzy, something in her bio caught my attention. It read, inexperienced but interested in well-endowed men. Though I was skeptical, I took a chance and liked her profile. We matched. Her name was Grace, 39 years old. I figured she wouldn't message first, but to my surprise, Grace sent a friendly, "Nice to meet you." Feeling butterflies in my stomach, I replied, "I'm pretty nervous. This is my first match." Her response made me smile. "Really? I would have thought someone with your special qualities would be quite popular." Her reply was warm and engaging. "Even with my unique size, I haven't had much luck," I shared. Grace responded thoughtfully, "Do you really embrace your uniqueness?" "Yes, I have strong physical needs, though it's a bit embarrassing to admit," I confessed. Despite having just met, her candid response made me smile. There was something intriguing about her personality. After chatting into the evening, we decided to meet up. I felt butterflies in my stomach since we'd only communicated through messages without seeing each other's faces. But knowing how invested Mike was in my happiness, I didn't want to disappoint him by passing up this opportunity. So I took a leap of faith and agreed. We planned to meet during daylight hours the following weekend. I was relieved we weren't jumping straight into anything intimate. This way, we could gracefully part ways if there wasn't a connection. In the days leading up to our meeting, Grace and I continued messaging, my emotions swinging between excitement and nervousness. When the weekend finally arrived, I headed to our meeting spot with anticipation building in my chest. We had coordinated our outfits to make recognizing each other easier. About 5 minutes before our scheduled time, I heard someone call out, "Jude?" Looking up, I was struck speechless. Before me stood a stunning woman with an elegant figure and beautiful straight hair flowing past her shoulders. She wore a flattering V-neck blouse that highlighted her graceful features and everything about her, from her feminine silhouette to her refined face and welcoming smile, was breathtaking. Her second call of my name snapped me back to reality. Grace? What a relief. I was worried we might miss each other. Her voice carried the same warmth I'd felt in her messages. Looking at this unexpectedly gorgeous woman, I couldn't help but wonder, why would someone like her be interested in someone like me? Given her inexperience, surely she didn't need someone of my size. Though doubts crept in, I kept them to myself as we exchanged pleasant greetings and walked to a nearby cafe. As our conversation flowed naturally and the atmosphere grew more intimate, she suddenly spoke softly, yes? I responded. I know we agreed to just meet face to face today, but would you like to go somewhere more private? She asked with a shy smile. Throughout our chat, she seemed completely at ease, laughing freely and showing her charming personality. Her bashful expressions and sweet glances were captivating, and her whole demeanor was so appealing that I couldn't help wondering if I was really good enough for her. I've matched with several people before, she said quietly, but I've never felt this comfortable talking with anyone. Usually, when I mention my inexperience, guys only focus on that one thing. Their first messages are always about heading straight to a hotel. At my age, I felt embarrassed about my lack of experience and wanted to move past it quickly, so I tried meeting guys who could at least hold a conversation. But they'd either get too aggressive or suddenly suggest inappropriate things, or we'd have absolutely nothing to talk about. Being introverted, I struggled to keep conversations going. Everything would end awkwardly or with me making a quick exit. I thought today might be the same, but with you, Jude, everything feels natural and conversation just flows. She blushed and looked down shyly. While our discussion continued effortlessly, I could tell she'd faced her share of challenges. I'd love to be with you, Grace, but are you sure you're okay with my size? It's been the reason for so many rejections. I had to ask one final time. It's fine, she replied without hesitation. I've been using larger toys to prepare myself, so I know I can handle it. Her face flushed as she admitted this, looking down. Her earlier comment about having strong desires suddenly made perfect sense. Her openness about her preparation gave me hope that she might truly be able to accept me. My heart swelling with hope that this adorable woman might actually accept me for who I am. I gently took her hand and suggested, I promise to take good care of you. Shall we? She nodded immediately, saying softly, I trust you. And so, what was meant to be just a casual first meeting turned into something more intimate. She walked with nervous excitement as we made our way to the hotel. After choosing our room and going up together, she quickly excused herself to shower first. Her anticipation was evident in every movement. I waited patiently for her to finish before taking my own shower. Returning to the room, I found her sitting tentatively on the edge of the bed and sat beside her, taking her hand in mine. Though we hadn't done anything yet, her sweet presence was already affecting me physically, but I forced myself to take things slow, simply holding her hand and gently running my fingers through her damp hair to help her relax. When I leaned in for a soft kiss, her face lit up with pure joy. Her expression softened as she relaxed into the moment. Her eyes sparkled with anticipation, and her slightly parted lips curved into an inviting smile. I leaned in for another gentle kiss, drawing her closer into my embrace. The warmth of her body against mine sent electricity through my veins. Moving with deliberate tenderness, I traced soft patterns along her back, eliciting the sweetest soft sighs. Everything about her captivated me, from the rosy blush spreading across her cheeks to her shy, glittering eyes and the gentle tremor in her voice. I felt myself getting lost in the moment. We took our time discovering each other, sharing tender caresses and intimate touches. Her skin was impossibly soft beneath my fingertips as I drew out those lovely responses from her, while she carefully worked to accommodate me. We moved together perfectly, understanding each other's needs without words. As our passion built, she became more disheveled and eager. Grace's delight at seeing my aroused state filled me with joy. The fact that she accepted my size without hesitation and clearly desired me meant everything. When we finally joined as one in her first experience, despite some initial discomfort, she surrendered herself completely to the moment. There was no resistance or rejection. She accepted all of me wholly. In that moment, I experienced what felt like the purest happiness of my life. Our lovemaking was passionate and intense. Even after our first climax, her desire seemed insatiable as she asked for more. I'd never felt so wanted before. Usually partners were satisfied with just once. Her continued enthusiasm touched me deeply. We made love until we were both completely spent, though I lost count of how many times. Finally catching our breath, we lay side by side, fingers intertwined. "I'm sorry if I was too demanding," Grace whispered. Her face flushed pink with embarrassment and concern. After a pause, she asked softly, "Was it uncomfortable for you, since it was your first time?" I shook my head with a gentle smile, and Grace visibly relaxed, breaking into a radiant expression. "That was incredible," she confessed. "When I was alone, it always felt incomplete, but this was perfect." Her eyes shone with sincerity as she recalled our intimate moments. "Being with you was amazing, Grace. I was worried about being rejected again, but you've made me so incredibly happy, not just by accepting me, but by wanting me so much." I shared my heartfelt feelings. "You can have me whenever you want," she murmured, blushing deeply. "My desire for you is overwhelming. I'll probably want you again tomorrow." I prepared myself thoroughly for my first time, but now I only want to be with you, Jude. You make me feel so comfortable, and everything just feels right. Her shy confession was adorable. Her endearing self-consciousness made my heart swell. "I want to be with you again too, Grace. I don't want to take any more chances with anyone else," I responded sincerely. "Let me take care of all your desires," I added with a playful smile, and she returned it saying, "I'm all yours." We spent more time chatting and exchanged phone numbers. Moving beyond the dating app to direct contact felt like crossing another milestone in our connection. We made plans to meet again the next day before heading home. My past traumas began to fade, replaced by these sweet new memories that made my heart feel lighter than air. Back home, we texted about everything and anything, growing closer with every message. The next day was also a holiday, so we met for breakfast, returned to the hotel, and made love several times. Afterwards, we went out for dinner and took a leisurely stroll together. I felt complete, both physically and emotionally fulfilled. That evening, we continued sharing sweet messages after returning home. During the week, our different work schedules limited our time together, but we stayed connected through constant texts. On weekends, we'd spend both days together from morning until night, making up for lost time with multiple passionate encounters. This pattern continued for about 3 months. The joy of being accepted never diminished. If anything, it grew stronger. Beyond physical attraction, I found myself falling for her wonderful personality. Simply being together brought me happiness, and our conversations always left me smiling. One weekend, I decided to lay my heart bare. "Grace, I love you. Being with you brings me so much joy." I had given up on finding love and had no hope for the future, but meeting you changed everything. "Will you be my girlfriend?" I asked, gazing into her eyes. Her response made my heart soar. "I love you too." Grace confided that while she hadn't always experienced intense physical desires, Everything changed when she turned 39. Though finding the right partner proved challenging, fate intervened when she matched with me on the dating app. Our natural chemistry and easy conversation from our very first meeting led her to believe she'd found someone special. Her intuition whispered that I might be the one. She expressed how much she treasured our weekly time together and wanted our relationship to continue growing. We exchanged knowing smiles, both sensing the promise of a beautiful future ahead. That heartfelt conversation marked the official beginning of our relationship. Our connection only deepened after we started dating. Grace's passionate nature meant our weekends were filled with intimate moments. Being so deeply desired was incredibly fulfilling, and her presence alone would reinvigorate me, leading to countless passionate encounters. Beyond our physical connection, we spent weekends exploring Colorado's breathtaking landscapes, hiking through Rocky Mountain National Park, and discovering Denver's finest restaurants. These simple shared experiences brought us just as much joy. Before we knew it, we'd created a year's worth of precious memories together. Even after that first year, our relationship remained as vibrant as ever. Weekdays were filled with calls and messages, while weekends were devoted entirely to each other. Our only frustration was the limited time together during the work week. Despite understanding our professional commitments, I found myself wanting to spend every possible moment with her. That's when I knew I wanted to make Grace my wife. The thought of sharing our daily lives together after marriage felt absolutely right. With this dream in mind, I carefully planned my proposal. After selecting the perfect ring from Tiffany & Company and arranging every detail, I chose a romantic rooftop restaurant overlooking downtown Denver to ask, "Grace, will you marry me?" Though taken by surprise, Grace's face lit up with joy as she answered, "Yes, Jude. I'm so grateful we found each other. I want to spend forever with you." My heart soared. She later shared how she lived with underlying fears of ending up alone, never imagining that taking a chance on a dating app would lead her to true love. After the proposal, wedding preparations fell into place beautifully. Our families bonded well, and we enjoyed house hunting together. When I told Mike about our engagement, having previously shared the story of meeting Grace through the dating app, he beamed with pride, finally tying the knot. "I think I deserve some credit here. You've been absolutely glowing since meeting Grace." I'm forever grateful to Mike for bringing us together. Grace and I celebrated our wedding surrounded by loving family and friends, officially becoming a family. Our married life has been filled with joy and harmony ever since. It's hard to believe 8 years have passed since our wedding day. Yet our connection remains as strong as ever. Grace's passion hasn't dimmed, and our intimate moments continue to bring us closer. I still cherish our weekday time together, finding myself smiling spontaneously at the simple pleasure of her company. During these 8 years, Mike also found his happily ever after through a dating app. Seeing his happiness alongside ours has been wonderful. We're still as happy together as ever, and I'm confident our happiness will continue to grow. Reflecting on our journey with Grace today inspired me to share our story. Meeting Grace was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I look forward to countless more years of happiness together.